Yo, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's Oscar, and today we're going to be talking about error casino chips, basically, and kind of what they are, what are some examples, and kind of how they happen. So I'm sure many that are in the community have probably seen what an error chip is. Maybe there's some people that have never even heard of an error chip, probably don't know what it is. So I thought it'd be kind of neat to kind of run over kind of what it is and talk about them. So what classifies a chip as an error? Now, multiple different reasons why a chip may be considered an error, and we have to remember that chips aren't made handmade one by one. They're produced with machines that have dies. Talking about when the chips are produced, like the small crown die, let's say the hat and cane die, RHC die, inverse hat and cane die, all sorts of different dies. Colors in the material are basically infused within a certain area where the dies are and basically get compressed. And let's say part of the machine doesn't go while the rest of the machine does. There can possibly be an error that's produced then and there. Let's say colors for the edge spots are getting infused, but one tube doesn't infuse the edge spot color. So let's say the edge spots, there's supposed to be 4 of them, there might only be 3 of them. Or either that, or let's say the tube forces too much material, there might be a longer edge spot, or even a shorter edge spot. You never know. And when setting inlays, if the $1 inlay was last used and the chip mid-run has that on one side and then the $5 inlay gets switched on, there could be a $1, $5 error chip where one side has a $1 denomination, the other side has a 5. And the list of errors could be endless if people took the time to take at chips really closely. Some people might have an error chip and not even notice it, and sometimes it's a small error and other times it's a larger error. So let's get into some examples. First one being denominations. So this one, like I just said, let's say the chip mid-run gets switched and the inlays didn't. There could be a possibility as to why that happened. So like in the first picture, there's a Pick Hobson's Riverside 5, but it actually has a $25 denomination, which is of course wrong, which could mess up, let's say in the casino, if you were even betting with that one and you thought it was a $5 chip because all the other $5 chips are the same color, and next thing you know, you look at the 25, then you got a big mistake there. Next thing we have is a Dunes 100 with a $500 inlay. Definitely wrong there. And on the right side, you have a picture of El Morocco 1, 5, and the correct El Morocco 5 with the basically the quarter pie. Now, same thing as to how I spoke, or what I spoke about in the first picture. In the El Morocco picture, the 1 on the middle 5 probably has a $1 inlay on the back side, so definitely an error chip there. Then we can talk about edge spots and different type of edge spot variations, where let's say one edge spot might be flip-flopped. There might be extensions, or even a missing inlay or missing edge spot on the side. So like in the first picture, Nevada Club 500 is supposed to have 3 different tri-moon colors, and that one does have 2 blue tri-moons, which is obviously incorrect. Next picture, Pick Hobson's 50 center has 1 pink or fuchsia inlay that's extended, and then let's say in the 5 o'clock position, there's only the blue edge spot where it should have a blue and a pink edge spot, so that's technically a double error on that one. Third picture is a Camelot Club. I have no idea how this error happened, whether there was too much material on top when it got pushed, or too much material got pushed into it in the first place. I have no idea how that would happen, but it's only supposed to have 3 edge spots, and it almost has like 3.5 or something edge spots. It's an interesting chip. And then the last picture is a Silver Club. I don't exactly remember if those are supposed to have 4 edge spots or 2 edge spots, but something's definitely wrong there. So pretty interesting there. And these are more edge spot kind of continuations. So first chip is a King's Crown 1 that was reproduced in the 90s. It's obviously missing one of the brown edge spots. Mapes right there has 2 blue edge spots. It's supposed to have 1 green edge spot, I believe. The Flamingo is only supposed to have 1 set of 3, so something interesting happened there. And on the Nevada Lodge 5, the kind of the same thing with the Pick Hobson's Riverside happened there. So the Nevada Lodge 5 is missing one of the orange edge spots. Then we can talk about inlays and the hot stamps. So there might be different types of errors with inlays and hot stamps. Let's say the hot stamp isn't centered or the inlay isn't centered. One side could not be stamped, or one side might not even have an inlay. So that, or there might be an error with the inlay itself. There's, like I said, the list goes on and on. So first picture, and when we're talking about inlays being off center, they can be a little bit off center where it's still in the center circle, but if it's going onto the mold of the chip, then we got something wrong. So like in the first picture, definitely off-centered. In the middle picture, there's a TRK that actually got stamped on both sides and completely didn't get stamped on the other side. And in the last picture, the rounders chip, like a quarter of it or like a third of it's on the actual mold itself. So all kinds of wacky stuff happens with this stuff. And then kind of the last slide we're going to talk about. Now the Overland 25, this one in particular, I've seen a handful of these that are similar. And I'm not sure if there was something wrong with the printer when the inlays are getting made or what. But after the 25, there's almost like a 1/2 cent denomination. So I think I saw 3 or 4 posted of these on PCF, kind of looking for pictures in general. This is my picture. When I first got it, I didn't even notice it was an error chip until I went on Chip Guide and kind of started looking at the chip like closely, and I noticed that it wasn't the correct, I guess, table chip that was used, but it was interesting. And like I said, there's a handful of them out there. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that collect error chips and error chips specifically. So it's something different. It's something cool. It could possibly even be one of a kind, like a majority of the examples that I showed here. Like the $500 dunes on the $100 colors. That's probably a one of a kind error right there. But the list, like I said, the list goes on and on for this stuff. I'm not exactly sure kind of who even knows they have an error chip if they have one in their collection, but the list goes on and on. So I just want to make this quick little video talking about this stuff, get you guys informed on it. If there's any new collectors out there that probably didn't even know about what error chips are, hopefully they know now. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please drop a like. If you have any comments, put those down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.